Jon, your company chose to buy nearly 6,000 circular computing remanufactured HP laptops. I mean, I'm just wondering, have you ever bought or have you ever considered buying used products before?
I think the short answer is no, certainly not in this scale. It is the way forward, though. I think how we buy and how we use IT is a fundamental part of our sustainability strategy. Being the first time that we did it, we did have concerns, and circular computing have worked through all of those concerns with us. And I think those concerns are probably quite predictable. How many units would be available for us? Would there be relative performance issues? What would the costs be versus new? But I found it a very seamless experience to work with circular computing, who had, helped us all the way along this journey.
And when you were considering this, when you were deliberating about the options and how to proceed, how much of that deliberation and consideration was towards cost?
I think the key point is sustainability shouldn't cost more, but we know that there's been experiences where it has. So I think it would be wrong to say cost isn't a factor or a criteria when you're assessing these possibilities, but it's not the number one. Fundamentally, as the CIO of Balfour Beatty, I want to make sure the equipment operationally performs, and we needed to satisfy that criteria. Of course, costs comes into it. I would actually say in this strategy, we've got better value for money. I think that we've got a higher specification machine buying remanufactured than we would necessarily if we'd bought new.
Was there any pushback from any other parts of the business, from colleagues in the business, when a pre-used product was floated as an idea of something that was about to arrive on their desk?
No, but I think one of the things that strikes you is when these devices arrive, they're indistinguishable from new. So I think if we hadn't necessarily had celebrated as much internally our relationship with circular computing and discussed the benefits of doing this, I'm not sure whether our staff would necessarily have known they were using a remanufactured machine or not.
You're a little bit down the path now, aren't you? Your staff have had the product in their hands for, over a year or so. I'm wondering what you feel about how users feel about using this sustainable laptop product. What's the feedback regarding their experience? And indeed, even bigger than that, the sentiment towards the company they work for choosing a sustainable option.
Just before we started this conversation, Adam, I actually went and asked a few people outside in the office today to get some feedback. There was a couple of users that weren't aware they were using remanufactured laptops, but the overriding feedback is actually they feel the devices are better than what they had before. We know they're a higher spec, and that was a sales point for us. They are lighter. And actually, once they knew about the sustainability benefits that were coming from this, I think people are generally really supportive. So the feedback's great 14 months down the line. And we're not seeing any volume of operational issues that would force me to think, have we made the right decision here?
Having had the experience you have, when it comes time to refresh again, will remanufactured be the primary choice you consider?
Without question. When you look at the experience that we've had, it's a no-brainer. Lower cost, lower waste, better for the environment, and no operational performance concerns. We would absolutely do it again, and we'd highly recommend it.
And on a bigger issue here, how much value do you think will be placed on a company's sustainability performance in the future?
I think it's massive now. If you think about investors in our business, and there's lots of data available now, investors are making decisions much more based on ethical and social value. So it's key for them, and it's key for us. But equally, if you look at our customers, and 80% of our customers are public sector, and they're putting much more emphasis and weighting in the bid processes for projects to sustainability, social value. Somewhere between 10 and 30% of their weighting of projects is going down this direction now. So it's not just about the future, it's right now that a significant amount of value is being put on this sustainability agenda.
So what advice would you give to any other CIO in your position who was looking to buy certified remanufactured laptop products, perhaps for the first time?
I think there's a couple of things here. I don't think you necessarily set out to buy remanufactured laptops, what you set out to do is provide really good, robust, high-performing end-user computing devices at the right price. And our assessment led us to the point of remanufactured devices. And if a CIO like me finds themselves in the same position, I would say get to know the partner well, work with them on any concerns you have around availability, around performance, around costs. Do your homework and make sure that the supplier is who they say they are, and they work in the way they say they're going to work, and they've got all the right certifications. And I'm sure if you do that, you're going to find a similar experience to what I have, which has been wholly positive.